Well, I think the biggest strength or advantage may be the that our football team knows how to win. I think they proved it. They have those expectations now of what it takes to get in the national playoffs. To play in some big football games. I think that's a positive for us. Our offensive line will return 3 starters in Frank Verwink and Matt Mateer and Josh Konepke. All 3 of those people started for us last year. Josh was a freshman that played very well. Frank Verwink was an all-conference player for us. We expect him to be as good an offensive lineman maybe as there is in this league. We've got some other young people, Kyle Schober, Joe View. Are 2 people that stepped in. One, Luke Schultz had a very good spring for us. Tony Brechting, John Donazzolo, Joe Waneke are all young people also that have chances to play for us. Our backfield will probably be the place that we have to, to make some new changes, if you would. It's hard to replace a young man like Tyler Scarlett with the career that he had, breaking every record that we had. And Charlie Leffingwell, our running back, had a really, very fine senior season for us and had 12, 13, 1,400 yards and played big in big ball games for us. But we do have young people that have played. At tailback, Kevin Miller and Johnny Williams both played a lot last year. Johnny ran back the kicks and played in the Malone game and had 30 carries there. Kevin handled the ball for us as our backup tailback and carried it 6 to 8 times every ball game. Alex Sherman now is kind of slotted as our number 1 fullback. Wide receiver right now we have. Anthony Root, Andrew Clark, Ian Fisher, Dave Walter, all had a lot of playing time starters for us a year ago, so we didn't lose anybody. The one thing that we've done at quarterback is we've taken Brandon Cowie, who came to Tech as a quarterback. We've moved him, back to quarterback after 2 very successful seasons as a receiver. And he right now is in our 1 huddle, but he is getting, a very stiff competition from both Isaiah Hackney and Jake Brown, who we have a lot of confidence in both those young people too. So we should have a pretty good situation there. At tight end, Ian Winkie played a lot for us last year, and then Jake Kaczynski came in this spring as a redshirt freshman, had a real good spring, so he'll challenge also. This time we have some other young people that that will also get chances to play. I think it starts defensively in the middle, and I think anywhere, any sport, any position, any group, any unit probably starts on how good you are up the middle. You go baseball, pitcher, catcher, center fielder, shortstop, that stuff. Football, defensively it's in the middle, and I think with our 2 inside kids, with Brandon Hutchinson and Tyner Agan both coming back as our 3 technique and our nose guard, the returning starters, that'll help us. Both of our linebackers are back. In Paul Coppola and Ben Talkin, and then our safeties are back in Brett Gervais and Nick Brajak. So those 6 people all return as starters. We did lose a couple of great defensive ends, but we have some young people there. Garrett Ross was back from a year-ending surgery last year. We expected great things of him last year. He's back, in great health. Evan Mayer had a good, solid season for us last year. We expect him to step up into a more prominent role. Sam Kitts played some for us last year. Cody Goldsworthy is a young man that we moved from linebacker to defensive end, had a real good spring for us. At free safety, senior Derek Ferris played for us a lot last year in our nickel and our in our 30 coverage, and he will be our starting safety. And we have Derek Single right now will back him up and also play quite a bit in the nickel. And then at corner, Cedric Jones returns as our starter. He played last year with Deshaun Nelson and Rolf Mendoza. Those were our 3 guys that played an awful lot for us. He returns, and then we had Antoine Curtis also played for us last year on teams and played some in the secondary. And then last year 3 freshmen that we got, Emeka Mezamanu, Manny Kirkland, and Jalen Williams-Boone, all returned for their what amounts to their first year, and they've all shown great promise. Our punter's back. Ryan Van Gotham was middle of the pack in the league, has a very big leg. We're working hard with his consistency, because I know if he's as consistent as he can be, he's got a chance to be one of the better punters in our league. Our kicking situation, we lost 2 senior kickers. in Garrett Mead and Matt Botch. We've recruited, we have 3 young people that'll come in. They'll all be given a chance during early camp to win those duties. Our return game is back, if you would. Brett JaVale returned as our punt returner. Johnny Williams was our lead kick returner. Both those 2 young people are back. It reverses. Last year 4 of our first 5 ball games were on the road. This year we have 4 or 5 at home, including 2 night ball games. As was last year, I really believe that first one against Wayne State, here on Thursday, September 3rd, is going to be a huge football game for us. I mean, that sets the tone. Last year, of course, we were fortunate enough to win that football game on the last play, and you look back and realize how much of a difference that made as you prepared the rest of the year and once you got rolling, as opposed to having to come back for a loss. So I think that's a big one. We do feel good in that for our home fans, in our VIP packages, that 4 of our first 5 ball games are at home. So that's always a plus in the Copper Country when when you get the good weather for the home games, and so we're excited about that part of the schedule. Well, I think we have a chance to be a really good football team again. Our work ethic through the winter conditioning, spring practices, from what I've heard from our strength people, our summer workouts has been outstanding. We've got a group that played on that 14 team that got to the national playoffs and got a taste of that, and felt that one play and we were playing what amounted to the national champions at their place, and we've got a lot of people that would like that opportunity again. Now how hard we work, and you've got to be lucky, you've got to stay healthy. Some people have to play well, other people have to step up. So there's a lot of intangibles that happen, but there's a feeling right now within our football program that we have a chance again to be a I don't know if you want to say a force, but a factor in the league race.